Okay, well, it's that time of year. It's time to get ready for winter. So I made a video last week because I dismounted the mower deck. Got it off the John Deere X350 lawn tractor. And we're going to reverse the process that we videotaped last spring, where we took off the Berco Max snow thrower. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it back on. So just to understand our starting point, so I've got the mower deck, as I mentioned, already taken off. The snowblower is mounted using a subframe that has an electric winch for raising and lowering the snowblower. That remained installed throughout the summer, so no need to take that off. So it is already on. So we've got a couple little things to do to get ready for it. And then basically we're going to go in and pick up the snowblower, finish up the attachments as far as power takeoff and that goes, and we should be good for winter. So we're going to give that a little taping, try to cut it down to something short and sweet, and build the content of Berco Max / John Deere interaction on YouTube to help those people out that are in the same situation that I was last spring, where I needed to take it off and had no idea how to do it and relied on the manuals without any video or YouTube assistance. So we'll try to fix that. So I've got it, I've got the cars out of the garage, everything's ready. I'm just going to get down, and we'll get down to the business of getting this thing ready to pick up the snowblower, which is right in front of me here, where it was stored all summer. So before we can pick up the snow thrower, we're going to have to take care of the business underneath. And so the first thing we have to do is we have to put the drive assembly back on. Recall we took it off one of the last steps last winter. So this is it, and it's pretty much in exactly the same configuration how I took it off. So there is the idler wheel to tension the belt once it gets attached. It has the spring. The spring hooks on eventually to this hook. You can hook it on now, but it's probably going to fall off while we're manipulating this thing. So these pins go to the back. So this is the rear wheel here. They're going to slide into some holes there, and then this rod needs to slide in to hold it. And obviously these pins are there to do it. So I'm going to take the pins out, get the rod out so that we're ready to maneuver this into position. And then it's just a matter of sliding this rod in, and that will hold it. And then we can worry about the belt adjustments. I guess I didn't clean this as much as I thought I had. Okay, so I'm looking under here. Hopefully you can see. I'll have to check after. So these should be the holes that receive these pins. This slides up, and then the bar goes through here. So I'm going to have to lower these arms out of the way so that I can get the bar in. So let me do that. Okay, so I just unlocked the lift arm mechanism up above, so that if it gets in the way of putting the rod in, I can just push it out of the way. So this should go fairly well. I remember it being a little bit awkward taking it out, just trying not to scrape it on the ground and that. It's not exactly light, but I'm just gonna lift it into place, get it centered under. And so I'm leading up, and I'm going to get these pins in these holes right here. And there's two of them, one on either side. And hold on to that. So I've got them leading in. And so with those well seated, we can see which, well, I'm not all the way seated. Go. And so with those seated, I'm just taking my rod and I'm lining up the hole in the frame with the tube on the drive assembly, and I can slide that right in, again, because the lift arm has been pushed out of the way, and Just have to fiddle with it a bit to make sure it goes out the hole on the other side. I left the pin in on this side. So now I just got to grab my safety pin, come around to that side and pin it in. Okay, got my safety pin. So you can see where the rod came out here. So I've just got to find the hole, line it up, and put in my safety pin. And now the drive assembly is installed. So that's the idler wing wheel spring. We can spring it on there, or we could do it after we get this hooked up to the power takeoff. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm just moving the belt around. It kind of slid off when I lifted everything into place, but now I've got it all lined up. So this has to go over the power takeoff. So it is under tension because I did put that spring on the idler wheel. I'm wondering if it might be easier to spring it after. That will give us a shot, and if it works, great. If not, we'll try it the other way. So, okay, so I tried it once with the spring already attached. It was kind of tight. I think I could have got it if I kept fiddling with it, but I'm going to try it with the spring unattached, and that makes it really easy to slip over the power takeoff, although there we go. Okay, so what I was doing there, I don't know if you were watching, easiest thing I found is I was able to feed the belt in on one side and then just manually turn the power takeoff, which threaded it around. So as long as I can get this spring on to tension the idler, we should be laughing. Back to the other side. Okay, so what can we see here? Where is that spring? So the spring is here. I don't know how easy that is to see. It's right there. And that hook on the drive assembly, which holds the tension. So I'm just going to get in there with a pair of pliers, see if I can't get that to hook up. Okay, I was able to do it first try, but I won't pretend that it was an easy lift. So I got my belt on, it's correct, off the power takeoff, and so we're on to the next step. Okay, I've got the power takeoff unit in place. I'm going to prepare to lift this up, or connect it and then lift it up. So I'm going to take off the belt guard so we can get access to the belt and its connections. I'll just put that down there. I'm going to add the counterweights to the tractor so that it can pick this up without putting itself under stress, and then we'll bring the tractor over. So remember, you just line it up in the center where that opening is, drop them in and move them to one side or the other. Just get them lined up nice and straight. What? Okay, so I don't know if you remember from when we took this off, but you have these sprung latches. And so this pin, there's one on either side, as you would expect, it needs to slide in here, and then that sprung latch should actually just pick it up and lock it in as we do that. So I've got everything lined up. I just gotta tilt that up and then drive the tractor forward a little bit until we latch it. If it is a little sticky, the spring is on the other side, and you could release the tension if you want, but I think it's going to work the way it was designed, which is just to push it in. I'm going to move to the other side to do this. So I think the easiest way to do this, I have these wooden blocks that I was using last time for removing the mower deck, is I can just lean the blower forward until my pins line up with the receiving end and use the blocks to hold them in that spot. And I just got to adjust where I put the blocks to hold it high enough. That's pretty good on this side. Let me check the other side. Yes, this one's not bad, so just a little added security if I add that in. There we go. So you see I've raised the pins up to here, so when I drive this forward, it should just latch on. So that worked out really well. We're all latched up. I can take my blocks out, you see. They're loose now. So we've got to hook the cable up, which is to say to reattach the pulley to the frame so that we can raise and lower the snowblower. I don't know how well you can see there. I'll take a still photograph of what I'm looking at so I can throw that up in the corner just to make sure you can see. So if you don't recall, here's the pulley. You really can't see that, can you? Here's the pulley that stays attached to the snowblower. Now we left it with the sub-assembly last winter because the pin for the shackle was bent. So really we need to reattach it to the snowblower. There's a little latch under here. Again, I'll throw up a still photo because I'm sure you can't see it where you're looking now. And your point of view right now is you're basically sitting on the front hood of the tractor. So I'm just going to loosen the winch, pull out the safety pin, which keeps it from falling off once it's hooked up. And that will allow me to put the shackle around the hook and then put the safety pin back in. And then we'll be able to lift, raise and lower the snowblower. So let's get on about that. So I need to let out my winch. I'm threading it out. I don't know if you can see. Got the pulley turned around. There we go. I think I can reach that. So there we go. We got that there. Squeeze that, and I can feed it in and just hook it up to that hook. And we're hooked back up, just have to put the safety pin in. Let me get those still shots for you before we close this up. So we got to put the cover back on and then put in rehook up our handle for rotating the chute. So let's get this back on. And sitting all winter, we had the extension handle. So back over here, we got to feed our extension handle through there, pick up the other end, slide it in. We have to line up the holes that the safety pin goes through, and clip that in. And voila, that's it. We're ready for winter. So I'm just going to back this out of its summer storage place because I have to put the lawnmower deck in here and just give it a throw, run it up, make sure that it's turning okay, and test the install. But that should be it. Well, there you go. Everything's working, so we're ready for winter. I do have to put the tire chains on. I'll probably record that, but I'll throw it up as a separate video because not everybody needs to do that. But anyway, hopefully this was useful to you and it helps you get your snowblower back on, ready for winter. And now we have room to put our mower deck away for the winter and stay out of the way. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that video, and if you think of something else that you want me to do, let me know. So I will put down below in more information, I'll put a link to the reverse, taking it off for the spring, as well as anything else that might be useful, like taking off the mower deck. So again, hopefully you found that useful, and if you think of something that you would like to know that I didn't cover, and I can help you out, whether it's taking a picture of something that we didn't install or uninstalled, or commenting, just make a comment and I'll be happy to try to get back to you in a timely way. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Happy snowblowing.